Dr. Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions. This is Ask the Doctor, and we're talking about disc change. What does that mean? What is the disc? And how do we change it? Why do we change it? In terms of what is a disc is kind of like a jelly donut in a way, but it's also like an onion. It's got layers we call annular rings. Those layers of fibers have different angles in terms of giving it stability in different directions, and that it receives compression, but it also relays forces. It's very unique. And then it's got an inner core called a nucleus pulposus. Here's the onion. It's got layers, and here's the inner core, the jelly center. The nucleus pulposus is made of a substance that, when it's warm relative to the body, it's more like water, hydrosol. When it's cool relative to the body, it's more like a gel, a hydrogel. And so it also has water within that substance, but throughout the disc, we can see it on MRI. But the water, in order to have the right amount of water, we need 88% saturation. Okay, 88% saturation. That's like Kool-Aid, and you put the Kool-Aid in, you start to stir it, and you don't have any at the bottom. At some point you put enough Kool-Aid and you've got flecks of Kool-Aid in the bottom. You've gotten all the stuff that you can get into the water, into the matrix of the water, and there's stuff left over. In order to get more in, you're going to have to turn it into a syrup. You're going to have to add heat to turn it to syrup. Well, 88% saturation is 100% hydration. Okay, 100% hydration. That's as much water as you can get into that disc. And according to Panjabi and White, who are the gold standard for spinal biomechanical research, that is so strong that you will fracture the bone before you damage the disc. And I completely agree. But the problem is that most people have discs that have lost fluid. Now, the disc itself operates on from an engineering point of view. That water gives it its strength. If you take a piece of steel and you load something really heavy on it, like an engine or something, it'll change shape according to how much weight you put on it. If you take that same steel and weld cables to it and stretch it, stretching the steel, it changes the infrastructure of the steel. Now when you load the same weight, it deforms less. It preloads the steel. So that stretch preloads the steel. Well, water preloads the disc. Why did I go there? Because when you have all the water that you need, you're not going to injure the disc. You do not get disc herniations to healthy discs. You get them to unhealthy discs. Discs who have been unloaded, who've lost water. That causes them to be less resilient to the forces that they experience. Okay? So, it needs to have a certain shape, because the shape of the disc dictates the shape of the spine. And so we need to change that shape, and that's like orthodontics. We have to change the fibers, and those fibers have to change into an asymmetrical pattern. When we look at it from the side, we need the disc to be bigger in the front than it is in the back. And so that asymmetry is as we're changing the shape of that disc, and we do this with molding, it causes a stretching. The patient is laying on molds twice a day. They're doing warm-up exercises to prepare the fibers to open up. But then they lay on those fibers and they open up into that wedge shape, and that gives them their curve in their neck and in their lower back. But that change also is facilitated by the continued movement of that system, which pumps the the water back into the disc, and it increases not only its height, but it improves the hydraulic properties of the new shape of the disc. And so that's what we do. That's why I'm called the orthodontist of chiropractic. That we're able to make those changes, and you're able to see them on subsequent X-rays and even measure the difference, the changes that we've made. So, but that's when we talk about disc changes, that's what we're talking about. And what's really fun about all this, you say, well, you know, the problem is gravity. I say, you are absolutely right. The problem is gravity. The answer is gravity. The problem is gravity's pulling down on you all day long, and when you go to bed, you're shorter than when you wake up. And so you go to bed, those discs open up, and they suck water back in to whatever degree they can, and you're taller when you wake up in the morning. But what we do is we not only change the discs, but then we teach you, once you're done, to mold once a week for the rest of your life, which will open those discs up and help you deal with the effects that are natural from gravity. The people who are getting shorter are those older people, and say, I've lost 2 inches. Imagine you got 24 discs, and all you have to do is lose 1 millimeter in each disc, and that's an entire inch. 2 millimeters ain't that much, right? But take a look at their posture too, because they've bent forward. They're starting to go back to being the little baby, the little fetus, all bent over. And that weighting system is about pulling that back up and maintaining that adultness, which is the adult brain, which is the neocortex. So anyway, so hopefully that answers questions relating to that. If you have any other questions, please let us know. We're happy to do other videos for you. And remember, at Advanced Neurospinal Solutions, we're here when you're ready to take your life back.